Hello North Country and welcome to Lindsay's in Plattsburgh for IABO Board 43 Annual Basketball Banquet. I'm Foxy Gagnon, and the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's ceremony is Bernie Gwynn.
Without further ado, we'll continue on with tonight's banquet. There will be some desserts served shortly, so don't forget to save your forks. Due to an oversight on my part, I want to apologize tonight to, I forgot to say hello to Mr. Goose and Foxy Gagnon and Foxy's lovely wife Lori. They're here tonight as our guests to help us with this little affair and commemorating this event. But then again, I wasn't on Foxy Cable this year, so maybe I purposely overforgot it. But he's promised that next year, if I come back, he will have a couple games about me. Games that I'm in. Excuse me. Unfortunately, today, Mr. Miller, who was supposed to be our guest MC tonight, had a family situation that arrived. Our prayers are with Mr. Miller and his family. Something tragic happened to his daughter while she's vacationing in South America. I don't want nobody to get alarmed or heavy-hardened, but Mr. Miller was our MC tonight, and that's why he's unable to attend this event. So I hope Mr. Miller and his family are okay, and I know all of you here know Mr. Miller and care about him. I'd also like to mention at this time that Gil Burnell will be inducted into the Hall of Fame at the PBA tournament tomorrow. I know quite a few individuals are more mature than I and know Mr. Burnell. I remember Mr. Burnell when we were taking lessons at Monty Street. Now, that was before the renovations. So just to give you a little in-depth on how long I've been an official here. But without fanfare, I'd like to continue on, and at this time, we'd like to award the scholarship plaques to our recipients this year. We have Mr. Scott Morelli from Northeastern Clinton. He'll be receiving one of our scholarship, and Mr. Jeff Yeager from Saranac Central. He'll also be receiving. So if Mr. Vanderhoff will come up and help me to assist in the presentation of this award. As all know, Mr. Wally Vanderhoff is an icon in this organization now that Mr. Carpenter has retired and gone to watch us. So I want to thank Mr. Vanderhoff for helping me in this endeavor. But at this time, Mr. Scott Morelli, if you'd come forward, we'd like to present you as one of our board, IABO Board 43 scholarship recipient.
Thank you.
Okay, you can wing that. Okay, that's good enough.
Thank you to all the referees and all the members. I'm sure it'll come in handy. Thanks.
Well, seeing that Mr. Yeager is not here tonight, we'd like to take this time to bring Mr. Chase up here, one of the individual coaches that we are honoring here tonight. Not that he's retiring, but that he can go 31 years without that infamous technical foul. So, Mr. Chase, if you come up and spend a few moments of your time to give us some words of wisdom about... No, you can vent.
Now, am I grabbing something for Jeff too?
Yep. You can get that when you're done. Enlightening us.
Thank you for inviting us all here tonight. I'm not going to waste a lot of your time giving you boring stories about 31 years. But as I was thinking about this tonight, I was trying to think of some... I've always enjoyed coaching, the humorous aspect of it more than anything else. And I was trying to think of some things that happened over the years that were funny. And I really didn't want to pick on any individuals that are here tonight, but over the years, there's just 3 or 4 situations that pop up in my head that are, every time I think of them, I really get a good chuckle of them. We all had a great friend, dear departed Dean. Whenever he was in a game, you really never knew what was going to happen for sure. One time we were playing Au Sable, and Dean was administering some technicals to Gary Finney. And when he got done administering these technicals, I thought we had 8 technical shots coming up, because I saw Dean do this. I figured that Gary just picked up 4 technicals. So I'm elated. I mean, we're going to stand up there and shoot eight foul shots, and I got a kid, you know, it's not going to miss any foul shots. So I send him up, and he shoots 2 foul shots, and he's done. I called Dean over and said, Dean, what the hell's going on? You just gave him 4 technicals. He said, what do you mean? So I showed Dean what he did. He said, no, I just gave him a technical. I said, Dean, this is a technical. But Dean would start, he literally, and you guys remember, he would start at the floor, he'd almost drive his lower hand through his upper hand. And, you know, things like that happen, you just never forget them, because it's just really, really humorous. You also used to have a member. I've got to tell you, I've really enjoyed coaching these past 31 years. There's not an aspect of the game I haven't enjoyed. And you guys have an awesome responsibility, and I think it gets tougher each year. You have the responsibility of keeping players and coaches and fans and everybody else from taking the rules and giving one team an advantage over the other team. And I don't envy you your job. And I'm going to enjoy from now on, seeing as I did serve 31 years without technicals, I'm going to enjoy sitting up in the stands, and when I feel something on my mind now, you know, I paid my $2, you guys are going to hear about it. The other thing I'm really going to enjoy is I have a couple mentors, well, people that I guess I was their mentor. I'm going to enjoy going down and watching Tom's game in Willsboro. And I don't think, though, Tom, that you can go 31 years without getting a technical. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to take a moment to recognize an individual who's been an IABLE Board 43 member for 20 years now. I look up to him and I aspire to be like him, cool, calm, and collective, poised, well-dressed, and never break a sweat. Mr. Peter McMillan. He said he's going to say a few words at his retirement. I don't think I'll live that long. Well, I thank you, coaches, for your words of wisdom toward me, and hopefully you'll continue to voice them with true expertise in your field. And I always enjoyed working Mr. Chase's games. Unfortunately, I made a few errors in judgments, but no mistakes, but I'll keep trying. Hopefully the meal was pleasant tonight. We appreciate you all coming, but I've saved the best for last. Mr. Ed Jones from Plattsburgh State, would you please come on up and share some words of wisdom? Someday I'll be able to referee one of your games.
Thanks very much. Hopefully I can read my notes here. You know, they told me a few years ago I'm going to need glasses to read, and I think it's about that time. So you know, when you can't read the scores in the morning, you got to wait to get to the office to read it on the computer. Then I think it was about time to call it for the glasses. Tom Lacey asked me to speak about a month ago, and the day he asked me, I was at the Final Four in Florida and really didn't want to give that up. But he called me a couple of weeks later and said that he's actually switching the banquet so I could be here. So I really feel honored. I saw Rick Pitino speak at Utica a couple of years ago, and he got $10,000, but I got you guys to switch the banquet, so it might be a little better off. I want to commend the Referees Association for doing the type of things that you do, the scholarships. I think it's fantastic. I appreciate that some of the scholarships that you're going to give this year are going to some basketball players to come to our basketball camp, and I do appreciate that, but I think it's really great that you raise the money and you do help the community. I was in Syracuse last week, and they have a tournament, basketball tournament, to get the best kids in central New York, take 8 teams, and the referees do this. They call it the Zebra Classic. It's been going about 20 years or so, and they raise a lot of money for the community to get private sponsors, and they get a lot of people to come and see the games. And as coaches, we go, I was recruiting a couple of kids and get to see about probably 60, 70 of the better kids in Central New York. And just another example of what some of the referees do for the community. I think it's fantastic. You know, when I first came here, I've been here 2 years now, I think the first basketball junkie I met, and I love basketball junkies because I'm one too, was Tom Lacey, and we were at a function similar to this, and he's sitting there with his Celtic cap on, and I think for 2 hours he just sat there and I listened to how good a shooter he was. You know, other than Larry Bird, he was the best shooter that he's ever seen. Believe me. Tom's been a player. I've learned that Tom's been a player. He's going to get an opportunity again to play tomorrow, 12 o'clock. He'll be in the PBA, and I know he's got a couple other good shooters on the team, so I don't know if there'll be enough balls to go around for your team, Tom. But Tom he's also coached. Clinton Community College, was a very good coach there, and now he's at the top of the basketball profession, being a referee. But you know, I heard a couple of stories about him when he was at Clinton, and this one I wanted to share with you. A couple of coaches told me about this, and he was a great motivator, Tom, and he was trying to get his team to play real well for a contest the following day. It was a big game for him, and there's one kid that he had, and I'll call him Joe because I don't know his name. Joe got a little lazy. He's a very good player. Tom's trying to come up with a way to motivate him, to make him work harder. And both guys, Tom and Joe, both like Larry Bird. So Tom said, well, listen, every time I say make believe you're Larry, I want you to make believe you're Larry Bird, work hard, and maybe motivate you to be a little more intense out there and run harder. So that practice, and Tom's really getting into it. You know, he's getting real emotional about this game because he wants this game bad. And it's almost like every couple of minutes he's saying, make believe you're Larry, make believe you're Larry. And the kids on the team, they're just going along with it. It was fun. I almost got to the point it was a pain in the neck, but the kid went along with it. And every time he said that, he'd put it into third gear and run a little harder. So the game came next day, and same thing. I mean, Tom's really into the game, really emotional. He said, make believe you're Larry, make believe you're Larry. And it goes on, halftime, he's all over him. Hey, darn it, make believe you're Larry. We've got to win this game. So it goes down the stretch, and there's about, I guess about 10, 11 seconds to go in the game, and Tom's team's down by 1. This kid, Joe, steals the ball, goes the length of the court, and Tom's all excited, jumps up and says, make believe you're Larry. And he startled the kid, and he missed a shot. Well, the kid's real upset, and Tom, I mean, he's just drenched. So, and the kid looks like he's going to hit him. I mean, he's just upset about it. And so he goes up to Tom, he grabs him, and he says, Coach, make believe you just won the game. But Tom's now a referee, and in fact, did college games this year, right? And I know he was over at Champlain College, which has a very good junior college program, and Coach Tipson's there. He's an outstanding coach, and I know there was one game when he was over there, and Tipson was really on him, real hard, and really on his team, and Tipson called timeout, sat the guys down, and they came out of the huddle, and this one kid goes up to Tom. This is before he put the ball in the play, and he's like nose to nose with him. He's grinding his teeth, and he's just looking him in the eyes. And Tom walked away, and the kid was right there with him. Finally, Tom got a little upset because the other team was still ready to come out, and so Tom went over to Coach Tipson and said, "Hey, what's with this guy?" Because he followed him all the way to the bench too. And Coach Tipson said, "Hey, listen, I called timeout, and I told the guy just guard the guy that's killing us out there." Sorry, Tom. But it really is good to be here. I know a lot of people here, and almost kind of like family. I've been here 2 years now. This is my second year, and my family wasn't with me last year. They just moved up at the beginning of the summer. Buying a house in Plattsburgh. Joined the Rotary Club, which meets here once a week. I was a Rotarian in Utica, so I guess I'm kind of, they don't fire me, I'm kind of here for a while. I was the head coach at Utica College for 10 years and really liked it there. I had a good time. But I really thought when this job opened up that this would be a real good place for me to be. A couple of reasons. It's a good place to bring up kids. I have 3 young girls, 8, 9, and 11 years old. So I think it's a real good place, and I'm really enjoying it so far. But it's also a very good basketball situation. And I certainly have some goals that I want to meet as far as the basketball at Plattsburgh State. And of course, we want to have a great program. I mean, I took this job because I think we can have a great basketball program. I think we're pretty good right now, but certainly we're going to keep our goals high and try to be hopefully a national contender. I don't know how long that's going to take, but hopefully we can accomplish those goals. I think it's a very good academic school. I think we can draw kids here. I think sometimes, I found this in all the places I've coached, that sometimes local people don't know how good the college is right in their own backyard. I think sometimes people who are local, and I did it, when I was younger, they think the grass is greener on the other side, but you're very fortunate. Plattsburgh State University, an outstanding school, very good academically, nice campus. Our kids like it, and the kids on campus really like being here. From a basketball standpoint, people usually complain about local papers, but I want to tell you, we get Division I coverage. I mean, I've never seen a Division III program, Division III town, that gets the kind of coverage that our local paper gives us. Day before a game, we got a huge article. If it's a home game, after the game, we get a huge article. I mean, they had pictures of our guys this year, took half the page. And that helps recruiting, and it's great. The kids love it, and I've never seen a Division III program that said anything like that. This year we were on radio quite a bit, wiring. Believe it or not, they are on the internet. I had alums in Florida calling me during the season that follow our team. We're listening live to our basketball games on radio. In fact, we have a hockey player, probably heard, he's a Swedish hockey player on our hockey team, and he's a goalie, and his parents listen to all the hockey games live from Sweden. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that's another thing we have. And a lot of Division I's do that, but Division III level I think is great. TV, almost all of our home games are on TV, and I think the kids who do the thing, sometimes I watch those games when I get home and it looks like it's on ESPN. They do a great job, 3 cameras going. So those are the type of things I think that they're going to help us hopefully get the program where I want to. Our facility, our gym, we probably have, after Oniano opens up a new facility this summer, we might have the smallest gym facility for basketball in the SUNY Conference. I got news for you, it's the best. It's the absolute best. I go to some of the other SUNY schools, they have 3 times as many bleachers and they only bring one side out. Looks terrible. And we get more fans than anybody, and I think we did some promotional stuff this year. Next year, one of my goals, because we're getting great support from the community, is to get some more students out. We got about 5,000 students, a lot of them in the dorms, and I want to make that place a real happening. Every game's jam-packed, they're hanging on the rafters, and I think it'll be not just great for our team, a lot of fun, but a lot of fun for the community. But I think the main thing is that we do have a community that really cares, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. And you do a great job, and hopefully you can continue to support us. One of the things, though, that I want to mention is that to build a basketball program, I want to do it with the right attitude. And this year I wind up kicking a couple of kids off the team. We had an injury. Actually, one of our players had mono. I think if he hadn't had that, we probably would have went to postseason play. But we want to do it with the right attitude. We want to build a strong foundation with kids that want to do it the right way, good sportsmanship, good character, and kids that want to work hard. You have to have good players, but I'm determined that we're going to do it the right way, and hopefully we will. I just wanted to talk a couple of things, a little bit about refs, since we have so many refs here, and I just thought I'd mention a couple of things, because I was asking some coaches at what they look for in referees. And I think, one of the things that we look at and we always talk about is the consistency. And I think consistency in referees is the key. And I think most referees are consistent, whether they're going to call it tight or call it loose. But probably one of the things that I'm always looking for when I get a tour, if it's a 3-man crew, and I think next year we may be going to that in the SUNY Conference, but is that both referees, or all 3, are calling the same consistency together. In other words, one guy's not calling it loose, the other guy's not calling it real tight. And I found that sometimes when that does happen, it can be an advantage or disadvantage for one of the teams. I think another thing that I think coaches like at our level is to be able to talk to the refs, not just screaming, but every once in a while, you want to say something, and sometimes a referee might not come over. For instance, if I want to say, hey, that guy's, he's parked in the 3-point, and and the 3-second lane all the time. Please, will you look for it? So if a guy comes over and says, okay, I'll look at it, and hopefully does look at it, I think that's good. I think that's good refereeing. Now, I really believe that referees have a lot of power, and to make the game better or to make the game worse. I don't mean, at the end of a game you win a game or you lose a game, but I think just in general, for the game of basketball. And I think if you blow the whistle and do it the right way, it can really help the game. A couple of things that I think of offhand is telling the kid to tuck his shirt in. I mean, some refs will do that, some won't. But I think that you have the power to do that. I think it makes the game better if you tell a kid to tuck his shirt in. A couple of years ago, a point of emphasis was palming the ball. Dang, it was unbelievable. I'm watching TV and my team, and every kid's palming the ball. That's not good fundamentals, not good basketball. And I think it's been a point of emphasis, and your referees are starting to call it a palming violation. I think it's really helped the game of basketball. One of the things that I'm trying to figure out is grasping and hanging on to the rim. A few years ago, they were saying, well, if somebody's underneath you, you can hang on the rim. And now it seems like a guy's 10 feet from you, you hang on the rim, and nobody seems to call it. I'm just wondering where it's going to go. If anybody's in the 3-second lane, it's okay to hang on the rim. Screening's another thing. Screening at our level, boy, it can really get physical. I sometimes wonder if a moving pick is now legal. I mean, it just seems to me that can be so physical, especially at the high levels. I remember hearing Johnny Wooden speak, who was a great coach of UCLA and won 10 national championships, and he said, this was at after he retired, he says, if basketball gets to the point where it's more the physicalness is more important than the finesse and the athletic ability, then we're really hurting the game of basketball, and I agree with that. One of the things that I'm big on with my basketball program is self-improvement. We tell our players that you have to improve. You have to improve in the summer. And if you went into our locker room right now, there'd be a list of things that they should be doing in the off-season. And one of my favorite saying is, if you really want to be the best you're capable of being, there is no off-season. I mean, you should be using what is the off-season opportunity to get better. And I try to do that myself. I think the summertime is a good time for a coach. Maybe watch some video, read books, go to clinics if there's any during that time. And I say the same thing about referees. And I would encourage all referees to try to get better even in the off season. I think guys that do summer leagues, I think that's great. It's an opportunity to coach, to referee against maybe bigger kids than you would during the year. I see some referees going to summer camps. I would encourage referees to go to some summer camps. Maybe not every year, but there's a lot of good ones out there. I remember going to one at 5-Star Basketball Camp years ago, and the referees were there, and some big-time officials to help. So I think it's good. I think it definitely helps as far as getting better, the self-improvement thing. One of the things that I find is real important, videotapes. As a coach, I watch videotapes with short kids, and I think referees can learn a lot from videotapes. I've probably, in all the years I've coached, I could probably count the times on my hand in which I've gotten a call from a referee to watch a videotape of themselves. I had to coach, there's a Potsdam game this year, we lost. And it was a tough call. One of the calls, a guy actually hung on the rim, the ball went up, it was coming down, the kid was still on the rim because he kind of broke it, it was coming down, and the ball might have been in the cylinder when he was hanging on it. So it was a questionable, offensive interference, technical foul, the whole works, and I jumped up and down about it, and we didn't seem to get the call. But that particular referee, he's probably been ref in college for 20 years. And on that Monday morning, because we played Saturday, he called me up, and he said, Ed, geez, I'm just, can you send me the video? Because I really wanted to see it. He's kind of let me know that, hey, you might have missed it, and he wanted to see the video, and I sent it right away to him. But here's a guy who's been coaching college for 20 years, and he wanted the videotape just to see, just to improve, and that really impressed me. So I think those things that hopefully referees, like players, like coaches, want to develop to the best ability. I think those are some things that they can do. Going up to the next level, I've seen a lot of guys down through the years, good high school coaches, they get an opportunity. Like Tom's at college now, and they get that opportunity, and I think those things really help. Going to the camps, meeting people, it does get kind of political. I mean, you have to know the right people, but I think you can do that by getting on the phone and going to the camps and doing the things that I think can get you better at that level. hopefully, this association, and I hope all referees associations, try to get some younger people into the association. And I've seen it sometimes with some places, and I don't know this association well enough to say pros or cons about it, but I've been in places where, some older guys who were involved, and they really kind of kept the younger guys out. I think that referees, as well as coaches and everybody else, have an obligation to get some young guys in there. Maybe some guy just played college ball and he has a good feel for the game. Get them involved, mentor them, kind of bring them up. I think that's good for refereeing. I think it's just good for the sport of basketball. I have a lot of respect for referees. I think you don't get much money. Coaches are all over you. Fans, no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong one way or the other. And I have a tremendous amount of respect. I can guarantee you this. I want to coach until they put me in a pine box, to be honest with you. I love the game and I love coaching. But if it so happens that I got to get out for one reason or another, there's no way I'm going into refereeing, I'll tell you. There's no way. It is tough, and I really have a lot of respect for you. I don't think you do it for the money. You could probably do something else and take a lot less heat. You do it because you love it, and hope that you stay with it and you work at the things to improve. And believe me, if you do those things, I think we're going to have a better game. I'd like to ask if there's any questions, maybe about college basketball. Or I've coached at every level. I've coached in junior college. I was a Division I assistant, both at Manhattan College. That's 20 years ago, and also I was an assistant at Utica College when they were Division I for 6 years, and then they turned Division III. That's when I became head coach. So if anybody have any questions about anything, or?
I got one for you.
Yes.
If you could be specific, what's the most stressful part of coaching college basketball?
Oh boy, probably the games, just getting ready for a game. I mean, I'm a wash rag before a game. I mean, the day, not so much in the morning, but later. I mean, it's life and death. It's unbelievable. And what keeps me going, I'm going to be 49 years old in a couple of weeks, and I see so many of my friends get burned out from the recruiting and everything. But I really love it. And I tell you, when you win a game, there's nothing like it. There's no better feeling in the world. And I'm not more relaxed than I was 25 years ago when I got in it. It feels just as good, maybe better when you win, and when you lose, boy, I tell you what, it feels just as bad. It's tough, but that keeps me going. Just if you get a good win once in a while, but it's very stressful. The recruiting never ends. Recruiting never ends. Just go all year round with it. In Division I, it's a little more intense, but Division III, same thing. We have to get the better players. If I don't get good players and we lose, I'll get fired. So I got to get the best players we can. We recruit all year round. We're out seeing people during the summer, during the season, summer camps, summer leagues. Now they've got, I was in Syracuse last week. Actually, there's a couple of kids I might be recruiting in the PBA. They're junior college kids, so I'm going to take a look at them. The city game, New York City kids goes Wednesday night. I'm going to drive down to Manhattan, watch that game, probably drive back. You have spring leagues, high schools have spring leagues, and you get into the summer, it never ends. So it's stressful from that standpoint, but to be honest with you, there's never a day goes by that I'm not grateful I'm a college coach. It's a great profession, and sure beats working for a living, having a real job, It is. Okay, again, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you inviting me. If ever anything I can do for anybody in here, I really sincerely mean this, I'll do whatever you can. I even gave Tom Lacey a recommendation to be a college official, if you can believe that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Coach. I might have to ask you for a good recipe for crow, because I'm going to have to eat some crow right now. We have a scholarship award that we present to that individual school that the referees vote upon. We've got it down where we no longer fist fight in the parking lot for votes, so we have a select few that we allow to vote, and those are the members. This year we had, it was difficult, but we came out with a good recipient reward for this school, and I want to apologize for oversight, so that recipe for crow would be most appreciative, Coach. At this time, I'll ask Mr. John Rabideau from Northern Adirondack to come up and receive this award. For Northern Adirondack was voted as our sportsmanship Award recipient.
I'd like to thank the board and Bernie and Wally. I'm really excited to be here tonight. Anytime that I get any correspondence from Board 43 that doesn't begin with the executive board regrets to inform you that. Did everybody, Larry, did your invitation, was it 2.5 pages typewritten? Mine was the only one? Wayne? No? I'm not even going to try to follow the couple of guys that came up here before me. When I spoke to Bernie briefly and told him that I probably was not going to be able to make it, and then we were able to. What we talked about is just what basketball is going to be like going into the millennium. And the bottom line is this. Basketball in the millennium is going to be trying to replace guys, find guys that it means as much to as guys like John Carpenter, Arnie Miller, if he decides that this was his last season, coaches like Wayne Chase. Those are the kind of people that we need to look to, and those are the kind of people that we have to replace as we go. Our careers are hopelessly intertwined. When I go to a ball game to scout or to watch someone else play, what I find is if the game is going along, somebody in the stands is saying, these guys are not calling anything. They're just going back and forth. They won't call a thing. And then when you're watching a game and the whistles are blowing, it's like, come on, guys, let the kids play. And then I watch coaches work. And when a team is going really well, it's like, boy, he's got a great team. It's a great team. He's just staying in the background and letting them play. And then when a team goes into a nosedive like we did and lose 5 in a row, it's like, geez, I just wish the guy had stand in the back and let him go. Just let him go. It's a tough situation, and we share in that responsibility. I lose track of it. I'm sure you guys, well, I'm not sure, but I think once or twice you've lost track of it. We need to get it together that this game is just something that we share with a bunch of great young men and women. One of them sits right here. Another was not able to be with us tonight. That's what high school basketball is about, and I just wish everyone the best of luck in promoting that. Thank you.
At this time, we'll say that this is the end of our festive occasion. If you want to continue to co-mingle, that's fine with me. Go mingle. Go coach. If you got nothing else to do and you want to chuckle, I'm officiating the game with Ronnie Gimbruno, my dad, and Scott Beebe, my protector. Again, thank you very much, coaches and distinguished guests. Mr. Morelli, good luck in the future. Thank you.